we're focusing on ethnicity, we're focusing on other things, matters that are not even weighty, and we're leaving out the weightier matters. So people cheer you on into office, and then you get into office. Imagine now, sir, that the next president comes in and says no subsidy. How will Nigerians greet that?
The Nigerians will react.
Uprising.
They will react the way they reacted in 2011, 2012, when subsidy was already removed. As I usually say, I was with somebody that knew much about subsidy, and the person was from Labour. The person was telling us within our circle. Actually, we were in a plane. He was saying that the best thing that will happen, because he knew the inside wayo. He said, and all that. He said the best thing that will happen to Nigeria is to remove subsidy. So he was saying, I beg, good luck, I beg, don't succumb. There's more time they will call him when we came down. They will call him and say, if you remove subsidy, we will burn down this country. After shouting and on phone, when he switches off, he will tell us, I beg, may God help me, they remove subsidy. Can you imagine? So our public opinion is different from our private opinion. We know the truth. This person is a Labour leader, and he was begging God that he should allow Jonathan to resist, to hold tight, that he allowing subsidy to remove, that we crumble Nigeria. A Labour leader. But they will call him on phone in our presence. He will charge against Jonathan. Hey, if you remove subsidy, we will kill Nigeria. So you see, so the truth is known. And those, remember that subsidy is an industry. There are many beneficiaries, and people are benefiting in good and in bad, in an ugly ways. So they have enough money to mobilize Nigerians to fight, to protect an industry they are making. But me and you will think they are fighting for us. Subsidy. Okay, I know that things will be hard. Things will be harder. But it will be harder. We will accumulate the hardness to the next person.
So it's better that the person who's coming in just scraps it, and then we deal with the hardness. Yeah.
If we face it, it's going to be tough. They say, it will affect cost of transportation. I want to ask you, even if you allow subsidy, cost of transportation is still going on every day. I don't know who says it. You can't measure any route in Nigeria, even if it's Port Harcourt Aba. You measure it and it remains stable for 3 months.
This thing about borrowing, how does it really work? So the IMF, do they give loans for free? When they give loans, is it that the country pays whenever they like? How does it work?
IMF doesn't actually give loan. World Bank may give, but IMF guarantees loans. So the IMF is like a manager around the world. While the World Bank is like the central bank of the world, the IMF serves like economic manager of the world, regulating things. So if you want to borrow, there are banks, institutions that lend, but they will not ask you to get, sometimes they ask you to get a rating, national rating. So those that the IMF has accredited rating agencies that will now come and rate you, and you use the rating result, like medical test, to back your request for.
Like your bank account.
Mm-hmm. So if it's an individual, you know what to do.
About the country now.
So as a country now, if you are borrowing, you will meet the lender. You will talk. The lender is not IMF.
The World Bank.
So World Bank, they have their own funds, but most big lending is done by various lending institutions around the world who are recognized by the World Bank.
Okay.
So it's like if you are borrowing from them, the World Bank guarantees you for them. So that if your economy wants to sink, the World Bank they will expect the World Bank to make you enforce some of the conditionalities that you entered into with them. So if you borrow outside the IMF, if you borrow outside them, then it's a risk between you and the lender. So IMF now, when you hear IMF begin to say, cut hand your this, they say, why are we allowing the Western world to dictate to us? They won't dictate to you if you are not borrowing. And you don't borrow without their backing and guarantee.
Okay.
So if you now begin to spend more on consumption, they begin to spend in the wrong direction. And they say, look, if you go this way, you will not be able to meet up the debt we guaranteed you. So they will begin to give you conditionalities. We here, we interpret it as them. We are a sovereign country. But let me tell you, the moment you borrow as a nation, once you take sovereign loan, you have sold a percentage of your sovereignty. You have given it you have given it in hold. So hold on for me. When you read history, you have some ethnic groups in this country who gave out the crown of their areas. Okay, help us pay our father's debt. Let's get free and bury him, but you hold the crown. So it's part of history. So the crown can be used to short it. So if as a country, whether you are borrowing from China, you are not borrowing from anywhere you borrow from, there must be sovereign guarantees, and those sovereign guarantees will be affected when you no longer can pay. Something must happen. When you default, something must happen.